Okay, so welcome to part 3 of the Fog of War module and Fog of War setup for RTS Engine version 2023.0.2, including the same version for the Fog of War module. So before we get started, hopefully you've seen the other videos and you've purchased the Fog of War module from Brendan LK. You will need to email him to get the updated package. It's mentioned in the forums a couple of times where people have asked and he said, look, could you send me an email? When you do send an email, make sure you include your invoice number so he can verify that you have actually purchased it. Saves you going backwards and forwards a couple of times. So yeah, there's that, because this won't work with version 1.24 cross-platform. I went into details on this on part 1, and that's the original video. So once you've got that package, obviously you've probably just installed that one by default, so you've got some Fog of War stuff in there. But what you want to do is right-click, go import custom package, and where you've downloaded the package that he sends you via email, or wherever you saved it on your computer, then click open, and all you need to import is, because you can see he's now got rendering pipelines. So basically what I would do is delete your previous version if you download it from the asset store. And when you go to install it, all you don't need HDRP. You do not need the legacy samples. The only reason for installing the legacy, so you want the legacy, that script and that shader, is because the Fog of War module itself requires that installed. Otherwise you're going to get script errors, you're going to get console errors. So make sure you got that installed. You don't need to install the post-processing v2 stack, so that can go. Under the URP, you do not need the test URP script, the Fog of War 3D URP demo scene, or the 2D demo scene, but you do want you want the URP script there, you want that shader, you want the featured.cs and the pass.cs, but you don't need any of that, and you do not need any of the samples, so they can all go. So basically anything that is not ticked as new on there is what you need. So when you look into the Fog of War folder, as you can see from my install, you've got Fog of War, you've got the editor, you've got rendering pipelines, legacy and URP. Under the legacy, all you need is the shader and the legacy script. Under URP, you just need the Fog of War URP script, the Fog of War URP shader, the Fog of War URP feature, and pass scripts. Under samples, all you will need is the Fog of War URP. Now that minimap one doesn't come with the asset. That is something I've created. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that out. I will go into that in a second. If you saw the post-processing, so part 2 video, you will know what that's about. So we'll go into that in a minute. Okay, so then if you haven't already imported the Fog of War module from the link on the documentation, so you want to get the Fog of War module, and that will be off of GameDevSpice.com. So it's free, but you will need to set up an account. So I just recommend just verify your Unity stuff as well. If you haven't done so already, I'm not going into that. Right. So what do we need to do? So also, not only once you've got those installed, you can't set this up by default with the scripts at the moment. So you will need to go onto the community resources channel on RTS Engine Discord, and grab the Fog of War RTS Manager URP script. I've done some changes in that to make that work with URP. Basically, it's changed the way there's no cameras now. You don't apply anything to the camera, you just use volumes, URP volumes, and that's what I've changed up here. So hence the reason why it's now called RTS Manager URP, so it's pretty easy. So I will show you how to set it up, and we'll go from there. What I could do is just do this straight from scratch, but I'm not. All right, let's do that maybe. So go to scene, fog of war, so modules. Yeah, let's do that. Fog of war, demo, scenes, and we've got a demo map, right? Okay, and if we open that one and we click play, it will work even though we're running on URP, or it won't work. Haha. Oh, the reason why it won't work is because we haven't included the actually, if I play that, that should automatically load that. No, it didn't include that. Okay, that's fine. So did I include still keeping that on the cameras? No, I've deleted the legacy off. So if we go into the modules already, as you can see, I've set to fog of war. Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to set up. So let's not worry about that so far. So in the demo map, actually, I'm going to use the scene I've already got set up here. So it's basically a clone of the demo map anyway. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's import the fog of war module. I'm just going to override the demo. Ignore the prefabs. Just do the scene. I don't want anything else, and I'm not doing the scripts. I'll show you. Right, okay, so I'm just going to override the demo, and then we'll set this up from scratch. So that's my bad on that one. So let's go back into fog of war, demo, scenes, demo map. And as you can see, our post-processing stack is missing. That is because you do not, or if you have installed it with in from Unity registry, you need to remove it. Okay, it won't work. In fact, it actually says that in the fog of war asset documentation. So make sure this one is uninstalled or not installed. So remove that, and then so this will be missing the script. So we can delete that because we're using URP, obviously. Now on our cameras, so on the default, we've still got. We're missing that one. That's because that's post-processing, so we're going to lose that one. We've still got our fog of war legacy, and if we click play, everything's pretty dark, and we pretty much should know why that is, and that is because our cam UI there needs to be changed to an overlay. Okay, and our main cam we need to add that overlay into there. So now when we click play, great, it works, but there's no fog. Well, everything's hidden, but we've actually got no fog, and that's because we now need to use, in fact, if I just bring that up and go to the project settings, you can see it's loaded the legacy shader, but it's not working because it's URP. So what we need to do is we need to go to our main camera, we need to remove the fog of war legacy script, and go to our camera UI, sorry, not camera UI, our minimap cam UI, and we need to remove that script as well. Okay, then we go into our fog of war modules. Okay, as you can see, that one, the fog of war RTS manager script, we need to remove that one, and we now need to add our fog of war RTS manager URP script. Okay, I'm just going to move that up because yeah. Okay, so apart from that, so have we got any volumes? No, we have no volumes. So we need a volume in there to work with URP for our fog of war. So the way we do that, we'll come back to that in a second, is in the project create an empty object called FOW volume, or whatever you want to call it. And then we go here and we click add component and we want a volume. Okay. We want to make sure that this is global, and then we're looking for a volume profile. So when you click that, it will pick up your fog of war volume URP profile. Okay, on here you need to tick team and fog of war color. Okay, because obviously our faction slot IDs is what controls the team, so only certain teams can see certain things. Now we go back to our fog of war in the modules, and then we can actually bring that volume in. And now if we hit play, if I've done this correct, it should work. And it doesn't. So why doesn't that work? Okay, well, that's where we come down to some other spooky little things. So our main camera, we need to tick post-processing. Okay. And you are going to want to do that on the cam UI as well, or the cam. If you're using the minimap with take snapshot, you want to do this on the minimap cam UI. You want to enable post-processing. If you don't, it won't work. If you're not using snapshot, you want to do it on that one, on your minimap cam. Okay, so I'm just going to tick that. Well, I'll leave that off for the second. Right, so now we're going to hit play, and we're going to have a look. And we, as you can see, we've now got our fog, and it's now working. And it's clearing out, and we've got our fog regrow. But as you can see, it's not working on the minimap. Excuse me. So on our cam UI, hit post-processing. Now, before you get going on this, something else you will need to do, and that's in settings for your URP rendering pipeline settings. As you can see down here in settings, you've got URP balance. You might have them with different names depending on your project and stuff like that. So you need to go into each one of your the ones that don't have the drop downs. So that one, and that one. And you need to make sure depth texture is ticked. Okay, as you can see, this is using the URP balance renderer. So you then need to go, so once you've ticked all of those ones, the depth texture, because otherwise your fog won't work, you then need to go to URP balance renderer. And there is an issue, so with the SSAO, so screen space ambient collision. So what you need to do is you need to either two things, turn it off, or you can leave it on, but make sure after opaque's turned on. Won't look as good, but it's the only way to get the fog working correctly. That's come from Brendan. It's to do with if you're using, say, like spotlight fog, where it clears in front of your units, the offset is weird and it doesn't come back in. So that's the only thing you need to do it after opaques. Okay. I'm not going through any other settings on that. That's all you need. As you can see, or even on the high fidelity, I have depth texture ticked, but on my high fidelity version, you can see screen space ambient collision is on, and I have after opaques on. Okay, so now when we go and click play, our fog will be working, and we have it on our mini map. And if we move that over, as you can see, that is now working. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause that for the moment. So there is, if you've watched the post-processing stack video, you would, so part 2, you would have noticed that we did a script change for the built-in placer script. By default, that's actually hashed out at the moment, and that is the same. You need to make sure this code is in here as well, not obviously hashed out or commented out, because when you click play, the NPCs will not be able to build inside the fog area, so they technically don't clear their own fog, if I'm honest. If I hit gizmos on and we go over to where we know there's a base, you can see the building placer manager trying to find somewhere to place, but the fog is stopping him from doing it. I think it's to do with the raycast and stuff. Maybe the dev might actually, RTS Engine dev might actually figure that out. It's not a priority because for NPCs, they don't actually clear the fog. I've got a feature creep I want to mention to him about, which I'm going to speak to him about at a later date. But so what we need to do is we need to go into here, and then what we need to do is we need to take that out or add that in, save that, and then wait for that to update. And when we hit play, we're just going to leave. We're not going to do anything with our units. We're just going to run over to there, and because our gizmos are still on, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you can see the building place loop. There it is. That's the audio emitter from the building place manager, and then some, and there it goes again. Let's just play something else, and it will come around again. So if we speed that up a little bit, then you can see that working. Basically, that's all that is, and you need to do. So let's turn the gizmos off. Let's go and hunt and find our unit. Let's go and get him over that way. And we'll run around. Oh, come on. So if you right click on something to move him and there isn't availability because it's been blocked, the units aren't going to work on that. So that's fine on that. If you wanted to do 2 color volumes, you need to go to here, clone the volume, and that's basically and just set the color on that, and then add another volume, and then set the layer to fog of war volume, and then in here you need to change that volume mask to that layer. I hope that's helpful and that works. If you get any questions, just message us on Discord and we can go from there. I hope that's great. Thanks. Bye.